Now we move on to the library books that I still have. I read Native Son by Richard Wright. I have a discussion video that I am going to upload for this. I haven't edited it yet, but I do plan to get that up very soon because I have some questions about this that I would like to get your input on if you're willing to share. Did enjoy the story. It gave me a little bit of a complex, and I think that's discussed more, which I've already recorded it, but I think that's discussed more in the discussion video. So look out for that. It is on its way. I also read The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh as an audiobook, and this was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It is supposed to be the 1001 Nights inspired story, and I could definitely feel that throughout the story. I do have a review of this. It was another late night recording, so once I get into the editing process, we'll see how that looks as to whether or not that review will be uploaded. I gave this 3 stars. Yeah. Then what is probably the top of my reading experience for this month, just because of the wait to get it, the wait for it to be released. Then once I had it in hand, the cover was gorgeous. And then I read it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the story. And then I read it again, like the next morning when I woke up, because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Saga Volume 5. First of all, this is probably my most favorite cover, and it's not because it's blue. But this is probably my most favorite cover in the series so far. This is the front. This is the back. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed this story. I may read it again, which would make 3 times of reading it before it gets on my bookshelf. I really enjoyed this. This is just one of those series that is so hyped, and it's hyped for damn good reason. I mean, my goodness, the artwork is great. The development that takes place in the story with the prince, with some of the backstory. I mean, it's just freaking awesome. Yeah, I love this. I love this. I think I gave it 4 stars. I think I may have given it 5. I think I gave it 4. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. And that is all the books that I completed for the month of September. I did start 2 other novels. I said it in my book haul that I had to go into the office, and so for that I got 2 audiobooks, one for the car and one for in the office in the time that I needed to kill sometimes to just de-stress and sit away. And one was The Wrath and the Dawn, and then the other was Incarceron, which has been in my car. And I wasn't enjoying this when it first started. I'm liking it better as the story progresses, but this will be finished in the month of October, as well as I don't have the dust jacket on it, because when I'm reading a book, I take, and it's hardcover with the dust jacket, I take the dust jacket off just so it doesn't get jacked up, because I can mess up a dust jacket. I'm reading The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson, and I am just past 50% through this. So these are the only 2 books that I have as my definite TBR for October. I'm really not doing a TBR beyond these 2 books for October, simply because now that I have finished with what I can get my hands on for the BookTube SFF Awards, all of the pre-reading and then the actual reading, I'm still 2 books behind. It's the same 2 books I have mentioned like 4 or 5 times, The Martian and Station 11. But now that I have gotten, and the Brandon Sanderson book, I think it's Way of Kings. But now that I have really gotten through that, I just want to read by the seat of my pants. I don't want to have a designated TBR. I probably will not do one for the rest of the year, and we'll just see what I grab as I move from one story to the next. This is supposed to be Octavia October, that Denise over at Denise D. Cooper was going to do, or is going to do. She hasn't said she's not doing it. So she is going to do it. I said I was going to participate. I am not sure whether or not I will participate, just because I want to read by the seat of my pants, and it's October and it's spooky reads month, and I do want to read some creepy reads, but Octavia Butler is sci-fi, and for the book that I was going to read, which is Parable of the Talents, which is the second book in the Earthseed series, that is somewhat along that line, because there is some sci-fi in that, so I may still read it, I may not, but beyond that, I uploaded a book haul this month also, and I managed to forget some books. They just didn't make it into the haul because I didn't put them in where they were supposed to be so that they could get in the haul that I originally recorded. So I went to the Goodwill twice. And the purpose of me going to the Goodwill has been to find one particular book, and that is the final book in the Left Behind series. I have books 1 through 11, but I need book 12, which is Glorious Appearing. Depending on when I go, some of the Left Behind books are there. Typically, it's like book 8 or book 10 or book 3, and I'm like, can I get a 12? Can I get a 12? So if you have been to Goodwill, or maybe it's just the Goodwills in my town, the religious books tend to be separated from the fiction and nonfiction books in their stacks. So I had not been looking at the other stacks because that's the danger zone. But this time, the 2 times that I went, because I was frustrated, I looked at the stacks because I was like, okay, I've been in here for 20 minutes. I need to look and see what they have over there. And I lucked out. And I got a hardback copy, which only really that I can tell has a couple of dings on the side of the back and in the back. But A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini, which I have heard many great things about, and it's been on my TBR list. I was gonna get it from the library, but it was $3 at Goodwill, so I went ahead and picked that up. Then on another trip, at another Goodwill, I picked up The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. This is the first book in his Kane Chronicles series, and I wanted to get into another Rick Riordan series and just hadn't done it. I have the one that's supposed to be after the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, and I'm so stuck on what the title of that series is, but I have the first book in that series on my Kindle, and I just haven't gotten beyond the second chapter, I don't think. And then I picked up The Heroes by Joe Abercrombie. If you have seen my review of Half a King by Joe Abercrombie, which was a novel that I read for the BookTube SFF Awards, that was the first novel. My dog is making weird noises. That was the first novel that I read by Joe Abercrombie, and I wanted to pick up something else by him that was not in that Half a King series, and when I saw this for $3 at Goodwill in such good condition, I went ahead and picked it up. And I believe Jacob asked me on my review of Half a King if I thought that Half a King was a good place to start, and I really said yes, because as I explained to you, Jacob, if you're watching this, that because Half a King was the only book that I'd read, but after reading this, I will have some more perspective on that, because I will have more than one Joe Abercrombie novel under my tube. Then later in the week, I went back to Barnes & Noble and picked up 2 other books, and Barnes & Noble was having their members appreciation event. So that was for, I think, that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that I had to go into the office. And so I picked up 2 books that I was not sure whether or not I wanted to read, but with the sale going on, why not? And one was The Way of Shadows by Brent Weeks, which is the first novel. I had to double check and make sure it was the first one in the Night Angel trilogy. And I have heard of a few people reading Brent Weeks and enjoying them, but I did not want to start with one that I'd already heard something about, or a trilogy that I'd already heard something about, and I hadn't heard anything about this one, so I'm going to start here, and hopefully I like him as well. And then I picked up a novel that I was not going to buy. I was going to borrow it from the library, but again, the hold list is forever. I picked up You by Carolyn Kepnes, and this is a new release, and it was on the Bargain Price bookshelf. But yeah, so that is all that I have for today, and I'm going to stop talking and stop recording so I can edit this and get it up in a timely manner, and hopefully edit another video before I nod off to bed. It is currently October 1st, 22 minutes into it. So I hope you all have a good weekend, whenever you're seeing this video. Thank you for watching, and peace out.